Good morning. This is Monday, the 5th of February, and I have the good fortune of having with me this morning Dr. Stephanie Burns. Good morning, Steph.
Hey, Allan, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And
Good.
a treat
Good.
to see you.
It's good to see you too.
And the workshop's getting close.
I'm just getting. I can already smell the Bain Marie food already.
Yeah.
You know, it's getting close. It's definitely.
We're almost there. And what I wanted
Yeah.
to do was I know that you've been doing work and giving it really significant thought. I wanted to ask just a few questions of you and send it out to some people.
Sure. Great.
So if I can fire away, the first one is, in the process of designing the day, which I know you've been putting lovely amounts of energy into, what's emerged that couldn't have or wouldn't have been part of your previous work and previous programs?
Yeah, that's great. That's a great question, and it has been when it's obviously designing this, I started in August. Uh, I had to pull everything apart, right? All these pieces. So it was like having a 5,000 piece puzzle.
Yeah.
And what I noticed was that some of the pieces related to the actual content that was taught in the various programs, Learning to Learn, Goal Achievers, etc. And in those programs at that time, what was well understood was the theory behind the various things we were teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I have examples of it being used in real life. So people had evidence, oh yeah, that I do that kind of thing. And then the strategies were put into small kind of applications in the classroom, because the goal was to see or to give people evidence that they knew how to control that strategy, so that when they left the room, they could take it and apply it. Right? So that was a basic model.
Yeah.
What I could not or would not have known how to do back then is deal with what then in fact happened when people went off and applied it to their own worlds, right?
Yep.
So for me, I felt like the original programs presented kind of a solid road base that people knew they could travel. And then they'd go home and they'd have these aspirations or goals. And essentially what we gave them was the perception that there were green lights all the way, right?
Lovely.
Like if you apply these learning strategies and you've gone back to school, then you're going to consistently move in a positive direction.
Yeah.
Of course, that isn't how anything works. I mean, nothing works in perfect green lights all the way. So inevitably, they would run into various types of roadblocks.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that they got ill and had to take a semester off. It could be that their professor didn't really like them or were very critical of their work and they didn't know how to process that feedback. So there could be strategic things that they didn't have a tool for. I don't know now how to do this.
Yes.
Or they were mindset issues. Like it would trigger them feeling not confident or being a bit embarrassed or being humiliated, or they didn't know how to deal with the level of confusion that can happen when you're learning something new. So I'm sending them off going, go forth, young pups, and pursue what you want to pursue. And in doing that, they would inevitably run into either early warning signs that something was going to come up that they didn't know how to read, or they stop signs. Literally, they just get absolutely blocked and not know how to go forward, or detours, like something would happen and they might need to take 2 years off from that goal and then reemerge later. So over the years, I started to obviously make myself available anytime someone got stuck. Or when people got stuck and they got themselves unstuck, they would share those stories with me. So over the last 20 years, I've been collecting all of that.
Wow.
Now, where you can find that work is in, say, the last 5 books I've written. So when I'm now teaching somebody to do something in pursuit of a goal, the blocks that they are likely going to hit, I'm aware of, and I'm giving them the tools that should you hit it to move around.
Yeah.
but those have been in unique contexts. So from the horsemanship world to the music world to, you know, engineering students, etc. So I've learned that's in this that I couldn't or wouldn't have done are all of those antidotes or the tools or the arrows you need in your quiver for
Yeah.
the likely, I don't want to say inevitable, but
Mm.
certainly likely blocks that people will hit in the various kind of goal pursuits they have. And this is being done for the first time in a program, like
Mhm.
in a live event. So we have to do little bit of backtracking, make sure people understand the basic strategies. That's not hard. Those are all written about as well. But
Yeah.
the main focus is as you're moving forward, what are the categories of blocks that are likely to come up? And should you hit them, what do you do about them?
Yeah.
So it is a lot of mental work on the day. There's a lot of thought going in the day. And
Mm.
it's funny, you know, I know in this group, most of these people are very successful. You know, you know, we've got people who have done a lot, know a lot, have
Yeah.
experienced a lot, but so have I. And when I go for my own goal pursuits, I am telling you, I still run into things that require me to pull out a different card
Mm.
out of the deck to
Yeah.
solve so that I can persist and go forward.
Mm.
And a number of these people I've worked with over many, many, many years. And it's the same. It doesn't matter how experienced and how well educated and how many goals they've achieved. When they start something new, they've got good odds they're going to come to a
Yeah.
halt. And so to be able to give people this would be the kind of work I do one-on-one mentoring people out
Mhm.
around a problem, getting them to, there's always a work around a problem, always a way to go forward. It's just that
Mm.
their mind doesn't have enough information or imagination to see their own workarounds.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
need somebody to intervene. They're just looking at the wall
Yeah.
and their mind has not yet encountered a way to shape alternatives. And so this day is about alternatives when people pick and choose personal or professional goals that they want to pursue over the next decade or 20 years or 30 years, depending
Yeah.
upon where they are in life.
So if I can say that in a really summarized, succinct way, you're,
Sure.
you're giving them from your own experience of people talking to you about what worked, what didn't, what got in the way, and you're doing that to yourself and including you in that assessment
Of course.
process.
Yeah, of course. I'm
And
always
from
thinking,
that, you've come up with a unique set of simple hows to work around whatever gets in the way or obstacles that come. So I straight away have a suite of this is how I can deal with this, not
yeah.
why is it happening.
And it's not so much, and I've learned that the more they understand about how the brain and the body are working in these things, the more control they have. So that's a
Yeah.
whole new kind of body of theoretical work we could
Yeah.
not have done 20, 30 years ago because
Absolutely.
we just didn't have the data.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't necessarily make it easy, it just makes it possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like none of my work makes things easy per se. It just makes it possible
Yeah.
for
It's a
you
lovely
to get
distinction.
one.
It's a lovely and important distinction. Steph, if I'm somebody listening to this recording and I'm sort of tinkering, will I or won't I?
Sure.
What you've just said entices me and I'm right on the edge. What would be the comment you'd say to that person to go, let's give this a shot?
Well, I mean, me being me, I would say your life is going to go forward whether you do this day or not.
Yeah.
And you're going to use everything you know to tackle the things that come at you
Yeah.
in the best way. I think the enticement of doing this is that you come out armored with or armed with a greater cognitive and physical capacity or a range of abilities
Yes.
that you are not you might get them through experience for sure,
Mhm.
but that's very diffuse and very hit or miss. And this is
Yeah.
direct line increasing cognitive abilities,
Yeah.
increasing physical abilities.
Yeah.
And so it's a short course that once you get a grip on, you start applying it, you start playing with it over the next year. You know, this is the tool bag for the next 10, 20, 30 years, whatever you know, striving to achieve. And we
Yeah.
don't know the things we're going to try to achieve
Mm.
or want to try to achieve, because our future selves are kind of a mystery to us.
Yeah.
We think we know where we're going,
Yeah.
but we all are old enough to look back to our
Yeah.
20s and realize, well, we had no clue where we were going to ultimately go, right?
Yeah.
So I think the thing is, it's just a short course or a faster way to get a direct line of the kind of content or strategies that you need, as opposed to wishing and hoping as you're moving forward. Maybe you kind of get them and maybe you don't, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm all about efficiency. I want to be effective and I want to be efficient.
Yeah.
And I want my students to have an opportunity to have those same efficiencies as they go forward. So
Yeah.
that would be the reason I would walk in that room. And if someone were offering me that level of new efficiency and effectiveness for something I was trying to achieve, I'd be in the room.
Yeah.
So why do I want to putz around trying to figure it all out on my own? Maybe succeed, maybe fail, when there's a great teacher who can give things to me directly that I can apply and saves me all of that
Yes.
time into the future.
Yeah.
So this is a future program. It's
Yeah.
not about the day. It's really
Yeah.
about giving you, again, more arrows in your quiver than you have at the moment. So
Yeah.
that's what I would say.
One of the comments you made that really heartens me for the, you know, if I imagine I'm one of the people listening, is your comment about, I've worked with people and we've worked through how to move obstacles, and I do that practice myself and I apply the skills continuously. My last question is, what are you hoping to learn in return from the work you present in this process, in this program?
I'm hoping I get something akin to what I got when we were running the programs for the first 20 years face to face, which is the next 20 years is people's stories. Like, what did they apply? What did they try? How did they use it?
Wonderful.
Because the feedback that's going to come out of this over the next 10 or 20 years is going to be at a logic level higher than that. Because now it's not, I'm stuck here. Oh, what do I do? Now it's, I got stuck here and here's what I did. That was the single most efficient way for me to get past that. While I was stuck here, I went and did this, which then when I came back to that, I don't know what they're going to say. I know what I would say because I know what I've done. But I think for me, what I'd like to take away from having done this program is the kind of knowledge that over the next 10, 20 years, as these people move forward with this content, that they help me refine it even further, more nuances, which where does that end up? Maybe not in another program, but it certainly enhances every book I write. Every book I write, you can just see where I knew the blocks were. Enough people had done the work, had used it from the presentations. You can see that work in the writing. So I'm just constantly trying to tease out the refinement of how humans use this instrument to best effect, whatever it is they're wanting to do.
Yeah.
So that's what I would like. I'm doing this so I get back. Maybe later.
How wonderful. We do a day's, or you do months of preparation, a day's work that really brings continuous learning and continuous application.
Absolutely, no question.
An ongoing process.
Absolutely. It's a never-ending piece of string that just gets more colorful and more little threads and hairs that we have to weave back in. And it's so big now that it would take volumes basically to write this for the general public. Yeah. Hence why all the books are done in a context, because I can keep them kind of manageable. Yeah. Although the last book is probably the biggest attempt I've made to talk to the general population. And that whole book is strategy, blocks and strategies, right? 2/3 of the book is that.
Yeah.
But even that could be flushed out deeper and further and
Yeah.
further.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Stephanie,
we're limited.
we are 10 days away.
I know
The excitement is building, and the
it is.
15th of February
I
is
know the
almost
people I
upon
know
us.
who are coming are very excited.
Yeah.
They're excited. They haven't seen me work in a room in a format like this in many years, but they're coming because they've experienced me working in the room in the past. They know what they did with that work,
Yeah.
and they're curious what they'll learn to go forward to make it even easier to go forward. So I'm excited. I mean, the people I'll see again after so many years and hearing their stories and watching how they absorb and then meeting a whole group of new people that I
Yeah.
haven't met before. So
Yeah.
putting them on this path. And I know what comes from this. So I'm excited for them.
And me, Dr.
And
Stephanie.
you, of course, and of course I
It
was.
has been a treat talking to
Thank
you
you.
as always. And we'll see you and a lot of other excited people on the 15th of February
I'll be there with bells on.
at the Sheraton on the Park in Sydney.
All right, mate. Thank you. Thanks for the morning.
Thanks, Steph.
Ciao.
Great joy. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.